Okay, I'm gonna make it a point to try to be careful when I hit the slides when I put this in the presentation mode because I want to try to get this done by 12 a.m. so I can get the extra points. So I'm gonna start now. It's 11:09, so I hope I can get it in on time. Uh, this is my personality. So first we have the Big Five model. I am 33 out of 100 on my extroversion score, meaning I'm introvert leaning. Basically, I'm an introverted person and don't consider myself to be very social, like at all. I like books more than people typically. I can socialize with people comfortably for certain periods of time, but often disappear into a quiet place when I'm low on energy. Um, Second one is my agreeableness score. I got 40 out of 100. I lean to be more disagreeable, and my biggest obstacle with that is trusting people and their ability to do well by me. I can be very agreeable if we're friends, but generally I can be quietly stubborn if I don't personally understand the choices people make. I may not react with empathy if someone annoys me. Uh, Next one is conscientiousness score, which is 51 out of 100. Right smack dab in the middle. I consider myself a structured person, and a change in routine can bother me. But I'm also very good at being sporadic when I need to be to enjoy myself in a social setting. I'm very paranoid and fearful of my environment or being hurt. I'm 66.3 out of 100 in neuroticism, which means I lean neurotic. As I said, it's mostly connected to my paranoia and fear of my environment or being hurt. I may feel targeted or violated by people and things around me, even though nothing may be out to get me. This could actually kind of connect into why I'm introverted, also. I could see this all like connecting with each other. Um, on my openness score, I got 57 out of 100, which is moderate openness. I love traveling. That's a big aspect of my type of openness, and I like to go on adventures in a controlled environment, usually with my partner or a good friend by my side, because I just think I can make awesome stories out of it. But I do prep myself for emergencies, and I would never do anything like crazy, crazy, like life threatening. Like, I see some of those people in those movies crawl up like electric fences and electrocute themselves, and that's just not me. At least not without wearing rubber, right? Um, Sometimes I use traveling and new experiences as escapism from the current reality when it gets too much. Next slide. Next slide, buddy. Okay. Now we're gonna go over the light and dark triad. You can see my scores here on the side. I got a 2.75 in faith and humanity on the light triad. Humanism is a 4.25. Kantianism is a 4.5. Dark triad, Machiavellianism is 3.2. Narcissism is 2.8. And psychopathy is 3. Um, my results indicate a higher score on the light triad than the dark triad in general. My lowest score in the light triad is consistently my faith in humanity, which contributes to many trust issues and neurotic behavior. Because I'm low on faith in humanity, I can be inclined to assume that my items have been stolen when I have simply just misplaced them. I am high in humanism, meaning that I value the people around me and I respect their dignity and worth. I see the importance of every human life, even if I may struggle to let them in. I am high in Kantianism. I lack desire to use people for my own self benefit, and I'm often upset if I don't feel like I'm contributing to my friends in some way. I try to do my best for the people around me because I see the connection in itself to be my quote unquote benefit. Um, my highest score on the Dark Triad is Machiavellianism. I struggle to say that word. As I have used deceit and exploitation often in my life, and I don't deny my competence at being manipulative. I do not desire to be Machiavellian, but I see no room to grow if I deny this trait within myself. I grew up with a very Machiavellian mother and with very Machiavellian people around me, and because of this, I've made a habit of being that way because I don't trust people and need to survive somehow. My grandparents were politicians, and on my dad's side, and on my mom's side, my grandma is just really neurotic. Um, she's convinced that everybody is a blood sucking pedophile out to get blood. Um, yeah. I'd say she's a lot worse in paranoia than I am, but I don't quite know if that's the truth right now. Um, let's see. I'm lower on narcissism and have found myself looking down on visibly narcissistic people subconsciously because it's like the world doesn't revolve around them. I feel like that takes a degree of stupidity to be narcissistic to like some extent because it's like many of them are like the world is revolves around me, or they don't say that always, but they act like it, and I think it's very egocentric considering that we're surrounded by people all the time. We're existing in a way that actively denies us the ability to believe in that type of message. I have been told by my friends that I lack narcissistic ego. I scored 3 on psychopathy because I do have a cynical side and I can lack empathy. I struggle to understand people's emotions without working really hard and making a conscious effort. I'd say at one point I was higher in psychopathy because about a year ago I was very emotionally closed off and arguably more cynical. Okay, so we're on to my attachment style now. I have a disorganized attachment style overall, making me very inconsistent in my attachment behaviors. And this is also accompanied by those lovely trust issues. Um, this happened due to my parents having inconsistent responses to my fear or distress. Sometimes I was comforted, but other times I was mistreated when I expressed negative emotions or asked for my needs met. As I got older, my needs started to be met less and less. My attachment style has made it difficult to keep relationships as my attachment patterns are unpredictable. As some days I desire a secure attachment, other days I push it away out of fear. As a child, I had a fearful avoidant attachment style where I seek comfort and closeness. But once my caregiver was near, I acted fearful and untrusting. My family has always described me as hard to read. And ever since I was very little, I was accused of being manipulative because of this. Uh, let's go on. All right, so we're gonna now evaluate one of my strongest political belief and what it says about moral foundations, how it lies within the moral foundations concept itself, how it affects mine, and what it reflects about my morals. Um, So others may disagree with me, but I believe that care and harm is high, as opposing book banning can be considered a caring deed, as it expands teachers and students' learning resources and giving them access to books that have important yet controversial messages that likely won't be found in other books, thus expanding their access to a better education. Fairness cheating value is also high, in my opinion, as this idea pushes that all books have educational value and that it is unfair to silence the voices of authors by banning their works. Um, the loyalty betrayal value is low in this because I am definitely going against my family's wishes by opposing book banning as vehemently as I do, as do most people. And we also were pushing against the government's sketchy decisions because we think this is sketchy. And we're not going to be loyal to sketchiness. Um, and being anti book banning would be low in authority subversion value as it questions and goes against government decisions of censorship. It's also low on the sanctity value as it is opposing a government purification. I'd say that people that are pro book banning would be high in sanctity, but that's not really what we're talking about. So that's why I put this as lower on sanctity, because this is saying the purification of these book banners is atrocious and it is over censorship, and what the GOP wants to do within the school system, not a good thing. Um, Definitely one of the things, if you look back in history, that Hitler did and advocated for, but we'll get back into that later. Um, that's for another time. Um, Liberty oppression value is very high. I'd say it's probably the highest out of all of these values, because opposing book banning is rejecting and going against censorship within the school system. Many people in the movement to ban books are oppressors. We want to rise against these people because they are attempting to control and silence other people. So we're for the liberty, and what I'd say that book banners are lower liberty, and this is a higher liberty type thing. Um, so I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint. Um, I have been on my grind set. I grinded to get here, like straight up. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for watching.